My beloved child. Stop scrolling for just a moment, because what you are about to hear may stay with you long after this video ends. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. This message is written as a fictional inspirational story, but if your heart has been searching for hope, perhaps this is the moment it needed. There was a conversation that happened quietly, away from the crowd, away from the noise, where someone looked directly into the eyes of the person you love and asked a question that seemed simple on the surface. If life gave you another chance, would you marry someone else? The room became silent. The air itself felt heavier. No one expected what happened next. The answer did not come immediately. Instead, your person lowered their eyes, took a slow breath, and stared into the distance as though searching through memories they had hidden for far too long. Everyone waiting for their reply assumed the answer would be quick. They thought they already knew what was coming. But they were completely wrong. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before a single word left their lips, they remembered a face they could never completely erase. They remembered conversations that still echoed in their heart. They remembered promises that were never spoken aloud yet somehow still existed between two souls. That memory changed everything. The person asking the question smiled confidently, believing they already knew the answer. Surely, they thought, people move on. But they had no idea what was about to be revealed. My child, life often places impossible questions before us. Not because the answer is easy, but because the answer exposes what truly lives inside the heart. The person you love understood that. Their silence was never confusion. Their silence was honesty. Every second that passed made everyone around them more curious. Some leaned forward. Others exchanged nervous glances. A few quietly whispered among themselves. What is taking so long? They didn't realize that a single answer was about to uncover emotions buried beneath months. Perhaps even years, of hidden feelings. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Far beyond what anyone in that room could see, their heart was fighting a battle between fear and truth. Fear whispered, "Say what everyone expects." Truth whispered, "Say what your heart has protected all this time." Only one voice could win. At that very moment, it felt as though heaven itself paused to witness the choice. Not because destiny was forcing an answer, but because honesty has a way of changing every future it touches. The question echoed once again. Would you marry someone else? This time, there could be no silence. Every eye remained fixed upon them. Even those who had been distracted stopped what they were doing. No one realized they were about to witness a moment that would be remembered long after the conversation ended. Your person slowly lifted their head. There was no anger. No frustration. Only an expression carrying the weight of memories that refused to disappear. They smiled softly. Not because everything was easy, but because they had finally decided they would no longer hide from the truth inside their own heart. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Before giving their answer, they shared something unexpected. They said, "People believe love disappears when time passes." Everyone nodded. It sounded reasonable. But then they continued. They are wrong. The room fell completely silent. No one interrupted. No one dared. Because everyone sensed the next words would reveal something deeply personal. They looked toward the window as sunlight gently crossed the floor. I have met many people. I have smiled. I have laughed. I have learned. But there is one place inside my heart that has never truly been replaced. The person who asked the question suddenly became serious. They no longer looked confident. For the first time, they realized the answer they expected was slipping away. The atmosphere shifted. Even ordinary sounds seemed distant. Every heartbeat felt louder. Every second carried more anticipation. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person continued speaking. They asked whether I could marry someone else. They never asked whether my heart had already made its choice. Those words landed with incredible force. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. It was as though time itself had paused. Some people began quietly reflecting on their own lives. Others wondered whether they had ever truly listened to their own heart. But the biggest surprise had not arrived yet. Not even close. Because the next sentence would change the entire direction of the conversation. A gentle breeze entered through the open window. Almost as if reminding everyone that truth often arrives quietly before it changes everything. Your person closed their eyes for just a moment. Then opened them again. This time, there was absolute peace. The fear that had been holding them back was gone. Only honesty remained. And that honesty was about to reveal something no one expected. Stay with this story. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the answer they finally give will not simply respond to one question. It will uncover the hidden reason they have never been able to forget the person who changed their heart forever. What they say next will leave everyone around them speechless. And that unforgettable answer is only beginning to unfold. A heartbeat later, the silence finally broke, not with noise, but with a single sentence that no one in the room was prepared to hear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The person you love looked at everyone gathered around and spoke with a calmness that carried more weight than 1,000 loud words. If I stood at another wedding, if another path opened before me, if every reason in the world told me to begin again, I could only do it if my heart agreed. The room became completely still. No one interrupted. No one even reached for their phone. It felt as though every second had slowed down. The person who had asked the question smiled nervously and replied, "So, does your heart agree?" For a brief moment, your person simply smiled. Not because the answer was easy, but because they knew the truth could no longer remain hidden. I have tried to convince myself that moving on would be easier. I told myself time would erase everything. I believed distance would silence every memory. They paused again. But some people don't leave your heart just because they leave your sight. Those words struck everyone differently. Some lowered their heads. Others quietly reflected on someone they once loved. And one person in the room suddenly realized this conversation was no longer about marriage. It was about destiny. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The one who asked the question leaned forward once more. Then tell us honestly. If that special person returned today, would you choose them? The atmosphere instantly changed. It was as though every wall in the room had begun listening. Even the ticking clock seemed louder than before. Your person slowly nodded. Not dramatically. Not for attention. Just one quiet nod. Yet that single movement carried more emotion than anyone expected. I would first ask them how life has treated them. I would ask whether they found peace. I would ask whether they ever smiled while remembering the days we shared. And only after knowing their heart was safe, would I tell them mine never truly forgot. A deep silence followed. No applause. No laughter. Only emotion. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Someone sitting in the corner suddenly whispered, I thought they had already moved on. Another quietly answered, so did I. But assumptions have a way of collapsing when truth finally speaks. Your person continued. People think love ends with distance. They believe silence always means goodbye. But sometimes silence is simply love waiting for the right moment. Those words echoed through every corner of the room. The person who had started the conversation looked surprised. I never expected that answer. Your person smiled gently. Neither did I. Because I spent a long time pretending I felt differently. The confession became even more powerful. Months of hidden emotion were finally finding a voice. Every memory they had protected was beginning to surface. Every unanswered question was leading toward one unforgettable truth. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Just then, another voice spoke from across the room. If they never came back, what would you do? For the first time since the conversation began, your person looked toward the floor. The answer did not come immediately. It arrived through quiet reflection. I would still wish them happiness. I would still pray that every door meant for them opened. And every blessing found its way into their life. Because real love doesn't disappear when circumstances change. It chooses kindness even when no one is watching. Those words touched every heart present. Several people exchanged emotional glances. Someone quietly wiped away a tear. The room no longer felt like a place filled with strangers. It felt like a place where honesty had finally won. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then something completely unexpected happened. One of the older people in the room stood up. They smiled warmly and said, I've lived many years. I've heard thousands of conversations. But very few people answer from the heart the way you just did. Never lose that. Those simple words carried incredible meaning. Your person respectfully nodded. Yet even after all of this, the biggest revelation had still not arrived. Because someone else, who had remained silent from the very beginning, was about to ask one final question. A question no one saw coming. A question so personal that the entire room immediately fell silent again. That person slowly stood, looked directly into your person's eyes, and asked. If the one your heart still remembers were standing outside this door right now, what would be the very first words you would say to them? No one breathed. No one looked away. Every heart waited for the answer. And the words that were about to leave their lips would become the most unforgettable part of the entire conversation. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because what they choose to say next will reveal the deepest truth they have carried in silence, and it changes everything. Just as every eye remained fixed upon them, your person drew a slow breath, as if searching for words that had been locked away for far too long. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The room was so quiet that even the faint sound of the wind outside seemed louder than before. No one spoke. No one dared to interrupt. The question still lingered in the air. If the one your heart still remembers were standing outside this door right now, what would be the very first words you would say? Your person closed their eyes for a brief moment. Then, with complete sincerity, they answered. I wouldn't begin by asking where they had been. I wouldn't ask why life became so complicated. I wouldn't ask why so much time had passed. I would simply say, I'm grateful you're here. Those 5 words changed everything. A wave of emotion swept across the room. Some people smiled. Others looked down, unable to hide what they were feeling. Because everyone understood something in that moment. Those were not the words of someone who had forgotten. Those were the words of someone whose heart had remained faithful through every season. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The person who had asked all the questions slowly nodded. I think I've heard enough. But before they could sit down, another voice interrupted. No. There is still one thing we all want to know. Every face turned toward the speaker. It was someone who had been silently observing from the very beginning. They stepped forward and asked. If they asked for another chance, would you trust them again? The room froze once more. This question was different. It wasn't about love anymore. It was about healing. It was about courage. It was about whether hope could survive after disappointment. Your person didn't rush the answer. Instead, they smiled gently. Trust is never rebuilt in a single day. It's built through honesty. It's built through patience. It's built through actions that quietly prove what words alone never can. Then they added something no one expected. But if 2 hearts are truly willing to grow together, I believe even broken bridges can become stronger than before. Those words settled deeply into everyone's heart. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. An older woman standing near the doorway quietly whispered. That is the answer of someone who still believes in love. Another person softly replied. No. That is the answer of someone who has finally understood it. The atmosphere became warmer. The tension that had filled the room began to transform into quiet hope. Yet destiny wasn't finished. At that very moment, a phone resting on the table suddenly lit up. No one had touched it. No one expected it. Everyone looked toward the glowing screen. Your person noticed it too. A single notification had appeared. There was no name. Only a short message. It read, some people never stop thinking about the ones who changed their life. For a moment, no one knew who had sent it. The timing felt almost impossible. Several people exchanged confused glances. One whispered, "What are the chances of that happening right now?" Another quietly answered, "Maybe some moments arrive exactly when they're supposed to. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." Your person didn't immediately pick up the phone. Instead, they looked out the window once again. As though they already understood something everyone else was still trying to figure out. Then they smiled. Not because every question had been answered, but because their heart no longer needed to hide. They finally admitted something they had never spoken aloud before. "I spent so much time wondering whether they still remembered me. But today I realized something. Whether they remember me or not, the love I gave was real. And real things leave lasting echoes." The room filled with peaceful silence. No applause. No dramatic reactions. Only respect. Only understanding. Only hearts quietly changed by a conversation no one expected to witness. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Yet the greatest surprise was still waiting outside those doors. Because at that very moment, footsteps could be heard approaching. Slow. Steady. Purposeful. Every person in the room instinctively turned toward the entrance. No one knew who was arriving. No one knew why. But somehow, everyone felt that whoever was about to walk through that door would change the story forever. And as the handle slowly began to turn, your person's heartbeat grew louder than ever before. What happens next will reveal why this conversation was never just about one question. It was leading to a life-changing moment that no one could have imagined. The door slowly opened, and every conversation in the room came to an instant halt. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. No one knew who was standing on the other side. For a brief moment, all that could be seen was a silhouette, illuminated by the soft light from outside. Every heartbeat seemed louder than the last. Your person remained completely still. Not out of fear, but because something deep inside whispered that this moment mattered. The stranger stepped inside with calm confidence. They weren't there to interrupt. They weren't there to create drama. They simply carried an envelope in their hand. Without saying a word, they walked directly toward the person you love. The entire room watched in complete silence. The envelope was carefully placed into your person's hands. "It's for you," the stranger said gently. "It was never meant to be opened until today." With those words, the stranger quietly turned around and left. No explanation. No introduction. Just silence. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Everyone stared at the envelope. No one knew who had sent it. No one knew what it contained. Someone whispered, "Open it." Another quickly replied, "Wait, maybe there's a reason it arrived at this exact moment." Your person looked at the envelope for several seconds before carefully breaking the seal. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Nothing more. No signature. No date. Only a few carefully written lines. As they began reading, their expression slowly changed. First came surprise. Then reflection. Then a smile unlike any they had shown before. One person couldn't contain their curiosity. "What does it say?" Your person looked around the room and quietly answered. "It says, never let fear make a decision that love should make." The room fell silent once again. Those simple words carried extraordinary weight. Several people lowered their eyes. Others nodded as though they had just been reminded of something they had forgotten long ago. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Your person continued reading. The heart often waits much longer than the mind understands. If someone has remained in your prayers instead of your anger. If kindness still rises before regret. Then perhaps your story isn't finished. Those sentences touched every soul present. No one laughed. No one doubted. Everyone simply listened. One elderly gentleman quietly stood and smiled. I've spent years believing that life is about finding perfect people. But today I've remembered something much more important. It's about finding hearts willing to grow. Your person nodded respectfully. Then folded the letter with great care. Almost as though it had become something precious. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Just when everyone thought the conversation had reached its ending, a young voice spoke from the back of the room. There is still one question nobody has answered. Every face turned. The young man stepped forward. He looked directly at your person and asked, "If tomorrow you discovered that the one you never forgot had also been thinking about you all this time, would you take the first step? Or would you keep waiting?" The room became silent for what felt like forever. This question carried no pressure. Only possibility. Your person smiled with quiet confidence. For a long time, I believed courage meant waiting. But today I've learned something different. Sometimes courage means choosing honesty before another opportunity slips away. If a bridge can be rebuilt, someone has to place the first stone. Those words settled into every heart in the room. Several people exchanged hopeful smiles. Others seemed lost in thoughts of conversations they had postponed for far too long. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then, almost unexpectedly, someone near the window pointed outside. Look. Everyone slowly turned. The sky had changed. Dark clouds that had covered the afternoon were beginning to separate. Warm sunlight gently spread across the landscape. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't overwhelming. It was peaceful. A quiet reminder that even after long seasons of uncertainty, light has a way of finding its path again. Your person looked toward the sunlight and softly whispered. Perhaps hope never disappeared. Perhaps it was simply waiting for the right moment to return. Those nearby heard the words and smiled. Because somehow, they felt those words weren't meant for just one person. They were meant for everyone carrying unanswered questions in their heart. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As everyone prepared to leave, one final surprise appeared. Hidden beneath the envelope was a second folded note that no one had noticed before. Your person slowly unfolded it. Their eyes widened. The message was astonishingly brief. It contained only one sentence. The next chapter begins sooner than you think. The room grew silent one final time. No one knew exactly what those words meant. But every person felt that this story had not reached its ending. Instead, it had just opened the door to a brand new beginning. And what unfolds next will reveal a truth that has been waiting patiently for the perfect moment to be heard. As everyone slowly prepared to leave, no one realized the most unforgettable moment of the day was still waiting to unfold. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. The room had grown quiet again, but this silence felt different. It was no longer filled with uncertainty. It was filled with expectation. Your person looked once more at the small note resting in their hand. The next chapter begins sooner than you think. Those words refused to leave their mind. They folded the note carefully and placed it inside their pocket, as though protecting something priceless. Just then, one of their closest friends stepped beside them. "I've known you for a long time," the friend said gently. "But today I saw something I've never seen before." Your person smiled. "And what was that?" The friend answered without hesitation. "I saw someone who finally stopped hiding from their own heart." Those words lingered in the air. Your person didn't deny them. Instead, they quietly nodded. "For too long, I believed silence would protect everyone. But silence only delayed the truth. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you." The people still gathered nearby listened carefully. No one was rushing to leave anymore. It felt as though every person understood they were witnessing something far greater than an ordinary conversation. One elderly woman smiled warmly. "There comes a day," she said, "when life stops asking whether you're afraid. It only asks whether you're ready." Those words settled deeply within every heart. Your person looked out through the open doorway. The evening breeze carried a peaceful calm. For the first time in a very long while, they weren't thinking about what could go wrong. They were thinking about what could finally go right. A quiet sense of hope replaced every old fear. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Then another unexpected moment arrived. A child who had been quietly drawing in the corner walked over holding a small piece of paper. "I made this," the child said with a smile. The drawing was simple. Two paths that had been separated for a long distance, slowly coming together into one. At the top of the page, the child had written only 3 words. "Keep believing always." Everyone smiled. Not because the drawing was perfect, but because sometimes the simplest messages carry the greatest meaning. Your person thanked the child and carefully folded the drawing beside the mysterious letter. 2 unexpected gifts, both arriving on the very same day. Neither planned, both unforgettable. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As twilight began to settle, someone quietly asked one final question. "So, after everything that happened today, what have you truly learned?" Your person looked around the room. Every face waited patiently. Then they answered with complete honesty. "I've learned that love isn't measured by how loudly it's spoken. It's measured by how faithfully it's carried." I've learned that hope survives longer than fear. And I've learned that the right words, spoken at the right time, can change an entire future. A peaceful silence followed. No applause was needed. The truth itself was enough. One by one, the people began leaving the room. Yet every person carried something different with them. Some carried courage. Some carried forgiveness. Some carried renewed hope. And your person carried something they had almost lost forever. Confidence. Confidence that what is meant to grow will always find its season. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. As your person stepped outside, the sky was painted with the soft colors of sunset. They paused for one final moment. They looked toward the horizon and whispered quietly. I don't know what tomorrow holds. But I no longer fear it. Because whatever is meant for my life will arrive with perfect timing. A gentle breeze passed by, almost like a quiet reminder that every ending has the potential to become a beginning. The mysterious conversation that started with one unexpected question had now become something much greater. It became a reminder that honesty has the power to heal. That patience has the strength to endure. And that hope can quietly survive even the longest seasons of waiting. Before walking away, your person smiled one last time and said, if our paths are truly meant to meet again, I won't greet the future with fear. I'll greet it with gratitude. Those words became the perfect ending to a day no one would ever forget. And perhaps the greatest answer was never whether they would marry someone else. The greatest answer was that they had finally chosen to be completely honest with their own heart. Don't skip. Stay till the end. Something huge is waiting for you. Because every meaningful journey begins with a single truthful choice. And sometimes, the most beautiful chapters begin only after the heart decides to stop hiding.